Welcome students. During the last lecture, we studied what is a line shape function and we connected it with the rate of emission of radiation. You see, the rate of absorption or emission of radiation is proportional to the energy density for a given frequency interval. Likewise, we also studied the stimulated emission and spontaneous emission. However, the spontaneous emission does not depend upon the energy density. Then we saw that the atoms interact with the radiation, but the spectrum, that is the emission spectrum of radiation, it is not monochromatic strictly. Why? Because their interaction is spread over a range of frequencies. Similarly, absorption by atoms also is also a function of frequency, because there is not a single level, but as we go higher we see that there is a continuum of levels, and atoms can absorb radiation over a band of frequencies. Energy, because there is energy levels have widths, and the atoms can interact with the radiation over a range of frequencies. Now this strength of interaction depends upon the frequency. Then we define a line shape function which describes the frequency dependence, and it is a normalized function whose shape is as shown in the figure. If it is if it it is a narrow function, and for monochromatic beams it is very sharp and peaked. Otherwise it is spread over a range of frequencies. However, because the total energy is conserved, therefore this function is normalized. We move further to understand this line shape function. These notes are being shared in the description box, and we have followed the books Tyagarajan and Ghatak, Shualto, Yari, etc. So let us see. Consider that N1 and N2 are the total number of atoms per unit volume in group and excited states, which we can call number density of atoms. Then instead of that equation we have written last time, because g omega it is normalized function, we can write the energy density in terms of GW. Actually, the rate of transition here, the rate of emission is, we can write integral n to b21 u omega g omega d omega. There we have considered in this formula, we have considered that whatsoever the value may be, We were unconcerned about d omega, and then we wrote that the total value of integral g omega d omega must be 1. So now, if we recall the Einstein equations b21 a21 by b21, we can write h cross by pi square omega by v cube, where v is the velocity of light in the medium, active medium, that we can write c by n naught. Therefore, we can write v21 by a21 equal to pi square by h cross c by omega 0 n. We have inverted this thing, and then we can write v21 in terms of a21 pi square by h cross c by omega n0 cube. Now, because a21 we have defined in the earlier lecture, it is 1 over t spontaneous. That means the lifetime for spontaneous transitions. Therefore, ultimately v21 equal to pi square by t spontaneous h cross c by omega n naught cube. This we substitute over here. Then we get the rate of transition as n2 into this thing d omega d omega. Since all these quantities are independent of omega, we can pull them out, and 2 pi square by h cross t spontaneous c by n naught cube, and what remains in the radical sign under the integral sign u omega by omega cube g omega d omega. This thing is called the capital gamma in Greek alphabet. Now there are two possibilities. If we have a broadband source, then see, this is the spectrum of the broadband source, and this is the line shape function. So line shape function is contained within this for a broadband source, because now it can have more options to get the frequency, and there is additional frequency available for it. Here we have taken the density of atoms interacting u omega. Similarly, if atoms interact with a monochromatic source, now because a monochromatic spectrum is limited over some specific frequency band, and the line shape function is more. That means the atoms can have more number of transitions, but there is a foundation of selecting only those atoms, those transitions, those energies which are available. So this is another case. Now, what are the implications of these over this integral? Let us see. In case the atom interacts with a broadband radiation over the range of frequencies, u by omega cube must be constant. See, u by omega cube, omega is here, it must be constant. So we can pull this term also out of the integral sign, and what remains is already normalized. So we arrive at this very important rate equation, gamma 21, that means the rate of emission from higher level to level 1 when we are dealing with a continuum. n2 pi square by h cross t spontaneous c by n cross n naught q u by omega q. Now on the other side, if the atom interacts with a near monochromatic radiation, we have this thing g omega by omega cube constant. Then we can take it out. So now we have the transitions over this thing, and this is nearly constant here over here. So we have the rate of transitions equal to n2 pi square by h cross t spontaneous c by n0 cube g omega by omega cube. Now this thing is minus of di by dz, and we divide by s dz, that means the volume. So energy per unit volume absorbed must be equal to this thing. That means the intensity. This is the intensity, and this is alpha, absorption cross section. Here we have the absorption, not absorption cross section, but it is actually the attenuation. So when a wave travels through, a radiation travels through a distance that it is attenuated, its energy is continuously, it lessens continuously. Then we have I is equals to I naught e raised to minus alpha z. Then we have n1 alpha equal to n1 minus n2 pi square by t spontaneous c by n naught cube g omega. This we called minus gamma. In a little while we will come to know what is gamma. Here in this equation, if n1 is greater than n2, then alpha is positive and gamma is negative. So the energy decreases with z. That means attenuation of beam takes place. In case this is the normal thing, because the population of ground state atoms is more. In case of laser, we have a population inversion. In that case, n1 is less than n2. Then alpha is negative or gamma is positive. So gamma we can call it a gain, and this is the characteristic of the gain medium which we use in laser. So it is responsible for the amplification. Now the graph between attenuation constant and z, we can form it, and omega. We have, if n1 greater than n2, then we have a peaked function, and if n1 is less than n2, we have this function. So for normal material, it is on the positive side, and for a population inversion, we have this, we have alpha, a negative value of alpha, which is the characteristic of this thing. So for next lecture we will carry on